So it's time to start with our warm-up session to welcome us for Open Conference. I would like to ask to come to stage Antonis Kalipetis and Kasidiaris, coming straight off Mikri Kuvenda or SmallTalk.
Hello there.
Hello, and welcome. Paris and Adonis, which I've known for centuries,
Hello.
are going to talk about junior software engineers in the era of AI code assistance.
Let's go.
Sure. Well, let's use the correct places because
I have the OCD as
I cannot change. Cool. So thank you very much, Martina and George, and welcome to Open Conf. Hello, Pari.
Hello, Antonio.
So today we're going to do something different. We have a podcast called Mikri Kuvenda if you're Greek, SmallTalk if you're not Greek. Feel free to search it afterwards, and we usually record things, but today we said that we're going to do something live. So
We still recorded, but it's live as well.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but we did actually we did a few live podcasts back in the
during
first
COVID
days. Yeah,
the pandemic thing. Yeah.
so it's fun. And today we said, okay, there's a topic that should be related to AI, but we're not very good with AI ourselves, so we need to find something that we can actually talk about, and that's how the code assistance thing came up.
All right.
So, Patty, are you using any code assistants? What's the state?
Yeah, I think I have the most unorthodox code assistant. I'm using Grok in Twitter. So, which is not a code assistant in itself, but when I'm scrolling around, which is quite often during the day, I go to the Grok tab and I type the questions, and it's actually I was really surprised on how accurate it was in some things based on that. I don't think it's good at all in general compared to ChatGPT, Claude, and all that stuff, but it was quite accurate. And it has happened a few times that we have discussed how an AI code assistant could, in any case, replace or endanger any sort of position in software development. But are you using any code assistants?
So I'm using a few. I've been using GitHub's Copilot, which is, I think, mostly OpenAI, but I think now they have also introduced Cloud Sonnet. And
do you use Cursor?
And Cursor,
lately,
yeah, that's the new thing that I'm currently using. To be honest, before we go there, I had one very specific question about Grok. So Grok has a fun mode.
No.
What are the differences in code when it uses a fun mode?
I've never tried it because it's quite annoying, and so it tries. So if anyone here is using Grok, it has a mode where you can prompt it to use humor and be more funny. But I think it's quite cringeworthy. I mean, it's really not funny at all. So I just disabled the thing. And
you can disable it completely?
Yeah, you can disable the fun mode because I never laugh. So I've used it a couple of times for the fun mode for questions outside of coding when I started. So I was asking, hey, make me a recipe that's like this and that and all that stuff. So it was trying to make some humor, and it didn't work well. So
that would be pretty interesting. For example, it could start coding in something like, let's say, write me this code in JS, and then it could spit out Python, for example, or it could have something fun like that.
Or something that does exactly the opposite of what you want. I will try it afterwards.
So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is see if it's going to spit out the code in brain fart. Is this the language that you use spaces and dots and something?
No.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It's been a while since I saw that. So it uses only spaces and exclamation marks?
Yeah, something
like
crazy.
that.
It's fun though. So it should be part of fun mode in Grok. Yeah. I would consider. So going back to the AI code assistants, and we have a topic to discuss today. So we have a timer and we have to respect it.
Yeah, of course.
So going back there, I'm using Cursor. I'm using VS Code.
So in Cursor, which
backend? Okay. So I think by default it has Cloud Sonnet 3.5, but I've also tried it with it has what's called Cursor Fast, which is something that goes a bit more speedy. And O1, it has like multiple modules, and then you can choose where to route your requests. So
for anyone that doesn't know here, there's this IDE called Cursor, which is a fork of VS Code, but it's working with AI a lot, and it has built-in AI features.
Yeah, I would say that it's a a comparable product to having VS Code with Copilot and then having the other one on the side.
You know what I'm planning to do with the help of one of our good friends. I'm going to set up a local LLM for code completion.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
Are you planning to use Olama or?
Yeah, Olama. But I'm not going to do that on the server because it's a NAS and it's very, very weak. I will do that on the Apple Silicon laptop.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So let's go back to the topic. We've been using a bit of AI in our coding efforts. Our team is using also a lot of AI in their coding efforts, and we've seen a lot of code produced by people using AI. With the assistance of AI. And I think that's a very interesting topic because if you go there is a big difference between people that have more experience and people having less experience with coding in general when they tend to use AI. And at least for me personally, what I've seen is that the more junior the person, the more easy it is to have code in there that looks really nice. It looks, it's very plausible that this could be an actual code solving the problem, but on the other hand, the code is not working, or it's not working as expected. And I think that this is a big issue there. We should find a way to help and see how those people can, from one hand, use that AI code assistant, and on the other hand, not produce code that's not working or it's not really good. Okay. So I think that's a big problem that we will face in the coming years.
And I'll tell you one more thing, but before that, I want to take a look and ask, how many people in the crowd are junior developers or have fewer than just a few years of experience?
So no junior developers. So
I see just a handful. Okay, great. One thing that I have that has come to my attention is the more junior the person that is, the more easy it is for them to believe that the AI-generated code is good. So usually it's those people who will take the code and just use it as is, which produces a couple of problems. First of all, I think both of us, usually when we see some code that is AI-generated, we can tell quite quickly if it has not been edited correctly. And this is because I think both you and me and people who work a lot in software and have written tons and tons of code, when you get a snippet of code, I think almost intuitively you will start reading it and see, okay, is this actually doing what I asked it to do? So I've heard stories quite lately from people taking interviews from other more junior developers and getting the response to the assessments being AI generated and being, completely clear. So what I think, which I think in itself is, let's say, a danger for junior developers. Personally, I don't think that AI will come right now and replace, junior developers because it's easy to solve problems and stuff like that. I don't think it's doing that, but I think it's easier to expose people who didn't do the work because they will do the AI thing and they say, oh, this looks good, and they're going to share it, but they have not checked it and looked it. But I think it's a great opportunity for more junior people to start delving into problems. So, to be a bit more specific.
AI-introduced bugs.
Sorry?
So they are going to fix AI-introduced bugs. So you have a code, you tell AI to do something, then you introduce bugs, and then you are more keen to understand how debugging works, and you know all the tooling and everything around it. So I
think it's a great opportunity to go to an AI prompt and say, hey, build me a program that does A, B, and C. And then you get the code snippet, and you have a great opportunity to read the code snippet, which is more difficult than writing, truth to be told, and understanding if it does what you want or not, and how you can make it better.
Yeah, I see that's indeed a very nice opportunity because reading code, I think, is most of us have learned how to code by reading other people's code, and that's that's how you evolve. You see a new solution, a new approach, a new use of technology, and then through that you can then become better at doing what you do best, which is coding. And I think that's a very nice opportunity for junior developers to have more exposure to code written by others. Others might be the AI, but at the end of the day, they see code, they try to understand it, they try to debug it, they try to see what's going wrong, and that's indeed a very nice solution. And I think that indeed by using this tool with great caution, because I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. So if you would like to use such a powerful model to do your day-to-day job more easy, you should be ready to see this as a more holistic thing. It's not like, okay, you know, I went to Grok or to OpenAI or to whatever Gemini or model I'd like to use, throw their query, which I'm becoming even better and better at it, and then get back the answer, and then think that this is correct. You should not be sure that this is correct. Not just because the models today are not at the state that, you know, the code is always working perfectly, but even if we go to that step, understanding the code and then trying to debug it and, you know, feel it, you know, touch it, it's very essential in that sense.
Do you feel there's an actual case of artificial intelligence, you know, code generation tools actually replacing junior developers? And explain your opinion.
Okay,
I have never asked you that, to be clear.
The replacement question is a big question. So I think that...
Sorry, I will make it a bit more specific.
Okay.
What are the chances for a company that was about to hire 5 junior developers in the next 6 months to hire 1 or 0 because it will rely on code completion software, code generation?
So I would guess that at some point, I mean, we're becoming bionic. I mean, we have glasses, so we see better. I mean, that was the first bionic invention that we had. Then we had prosthetic legs or arms. So, you know, we try to enhance our bodies by implementing technology. And I think the same happens with AI. So AI is going to be something that's going to enhance our abilities to write code, write maybe better code, write faster code, write more code. I mean, more kilos of code. At the end of the day, I mean, that's the best way to measure something. You count down the lines of code that someone spits out, and that's, you know, the performance that they have. No, I'm joking. That's not true. But so I believe that by using AI, we're going to slowly become more bionic programmers and try to enhance our abilities, do things faster, and so on and so forth. So definitely, if you believe that the market stays stable, so there are not more companies, not more need for code, you know, all those things, then in theory, the number of people coming into the market might reduce. But given that we become bionic and that, you know, we unlock more possibilities with code and with technology being such an integral part of our day-to-day lives, I believe that, you know, this is going to overcome the shortages of not needing as many people. Of course, you're not going to do all those mundane tasks like, oh, you know, go change this button or the color, or, you know, try to be a lot more, you know, executional. You will earlier on start to take on more ambitious tasks like, you know, redesign this page, or, you know, try to enhance this API call or all those things. So I definitely think that the way that we work is going to change drastically. But I do not believe that this is going to result, at least in the short term, like in the next 3 to 5 years, in reduction of the workforce or in reduction of the need for new programmers to come into the market. But they need to be ready that they're not going to onboard in the same way that we did. I mean, we have to adapt. That's one thing that we do. And they will have to change the way that they go into the market. And this would probably need changes in the education system, in the way that they are getting trained and, you know, getting ready for the job. So
can I do a follow-up question to that? Do you think junior developers right now have less reasons to get, I mean, people, actually not junior developers, but people who want to get into software development, do you believe they have less reasons to do so because of AI and code generation tools?
They have more reasons. I mean, it's more, even more exciting because, I mean, if I go back to my first program, it was, I think, Pascal. Actually, it was in school with language or glossa in Greek, if you have been there. And I found an online compiler that was, getting that language, which was pseudo language back then, and translating into something that could run in your machine and then running it. And that magic that you can instruct a system to do something for you and then it does it for you, it's really magical. And I think that that same feeling is going to be accelerated by AI, because in the same sense that I could just tell it to, tell me your name, my name is Antonis, okay, hello Antonis, wow, amazing, I'm the best person in the world. Imagine how many things you can do with AI. So that bionic me a few years back could be creating even more interesting things with that tool that they have at hand.
What I found really interesting, based on the conversations we had with a person from a big company, and where I think things will go at some point. We're still far away from that, but still, we were talking with an executive, a high-level executive in a very big company, and he was telling us how they plan to, at least for some systems, to move to completely AI-generated code. So what were they doing? Not sure if you remember for whom I'm talking about. Great. So they were starting to standardize how they were writing the spec documents. So they were having a very strict structure of, let's say, Word documents, like, hey, I want to build this web application, and I wanted to accept that input and the other input and do this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they had configured a system that would generate the program they had described. But it was something very specific for a very specific vertical and with very specific technologies. So this was a demo that he showed me. It did work. It worked. So it got a specification document and it generated a complete software. But it was, you couldn't do this in general. You couldn't do this outside of the company. I couldn't go there and say, hey, build my website or a blog. But I think this is where we will go. Sorry, last thing. We will start working more. With natural language, but it's still programming.
Indeed, because if you think about it, we started with on and off switches. We went on to punch cards. I mean, we haven't experienced with that because it was way before we started going to programming. Then we went to assembly. We went to C or more high-level languages, and then you can have languages that do even more things more easily. So we code in natural language, if you think about it, because we type things that we want the program to do for us. But those languages are very restrictive today. And then they produce compiler, or maybe we get to a point where this gets more relaxed, and then you can do pseudo language like the way that it is at school, and then this pseudo language can actually do things, or have more high-level statements. Like instead of saying print this to output, we can say print a nice message, or print a success message, and then this will translate to something that happens under the hood. Before we start wrapping up, although I think Martina said that if we go over time, she's going to come up here and then drag us down. So
it's going to be violent.
Maybe I would like to see how this is going to pan out, but let's go back to the topic. So, so for junior developers, I think that maybe we need to change the onboarding. We need to change, they cannot be trained. They cannot be on board in the way that we were back in the day, that we were more junior developers. So maybe the AI should be more dumb, so produce less code, less complex code. Like maybe you can tune the AI to produce code that is more suitable for people that are not as experienced as you are. So you can say you can give it some code or your experience level somehow, and then it can spit out code that aligns with that leveling. Because if the AI produces very complex code, maybe I can understand it, maybe not. But maybe for my level, I would like something more simple, even though it's not going to get me where I would like to be. I mean, what's your quick last take?
Yeah, I think that for junior developers, AI is the place to go instead of Stack Overflow, first of all. So when you have a problem, just ask ChatGPT or whatever, LLM you have for code generation. And then you also have the opportunity to ask it to explain the code it wrote. And then you can go line by line and see if what the LLM says is nonsense or if it makes sense. And if the software at the end of the day was what you asked it, or if it was wrong. And this, in my opinion, this is the fastest way to learn. I'm not sure if it's the best, but it's the fastest way to get as many examples as possible, and yourself find out if they're good or right and why.
I really like, this more positive note, because oftentimes you see people being very, dramatic, like, oh, you're going to be replaced by AI, or you are going to have huge factories of AI robots, trying to type code. It's not going. Maybe it's going to be like that someday, and we're going to enjoy it. But I think for now, if you think about it, and then if you use it as a learning experience, I think if you use the tool for the right job, it's going to go a long way for you.
Yep.
I think that's it. Yeah, we're right on time. That's good. I would hope that you're having an amazing conference. Thanks a lot for being here, and
Yeah, enjoy.
Thank you for this opportunity.
So you don't get to leave just yet.
Oh, okay.
Because when you announce your talk on LinkedIn, you also ask a question. So now you have to check the answers and comment. Don't worry, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you, Antonis.
Oh, I have it right
don't
here.
Worry, my friend. Yeah. So the question was, on the LinkedIn post, leave your thoughts in the comments on how will a software engineer's role be shaped in the era of AI code assistance. So our one and only Labros has commented that, he's tempted to use a skull emoji, but, joking aside, he believes that it will be merged, like code assistance with software engineers. And by merging, he means elimination of trivial activities, adoption of even simpler architecture, and more powerful dev frameworks are some of the imminent developments that he can foresee, like making lives easier for developers, but not eliminating them.
Can I go?
I quickly answered it, but you can comment on that as well.
Okay, yeah. I think it's going to be the same thing with the internet.
Right.
I mean, at some point, developers merge with the internet. So it's how often do you find any developer who works without internet? Pretty much never. So I think it's going to be the same thing.
All right.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the bionic part that I was discussing. I mean, most of the discussion was highly inspired by all those comments, so that's one part of it.
All right.
And we have another question from Leonidas Kalafatas. I believe that AI code assistants are tools, not replacements. They empower engineers by offloading repetitive tasks and amplifying productivity, allowing them to focus on high-value activities like innovation, problem-solving, and maintaining ethical standards in software development. Those who adapt will succeed in their careers.
I think that that's a very good comment, and I do not feel that there's a question in there. It's very obvious that as technology evolves and as you have more abilities, more tooling at your hands, you either use it and move forward, or you say I will stay more traditional, and then you target a more niche market. So if you would like to be like there are many occupations today that use more traditional as a way to market themselves, and I think that maybe there will be a market for more traditional developers, but if you would like to ride the wave and move forward, you are going to need to do that and adapt.
So technology is our friend.
It is.
We'll see. Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We can take a selfie before you leave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The audience.
With the audience in the background? Awesome.
Are you ready? Go.
Say AI.
Thanks a lot.
Have a nice
Thanks a
conference.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.